call the meeting to order, please. Would you all please rise to honor our nation's flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Leary?
Here.
Ms. Martin? Here. Mayor Murphy?
Here.
Ms. Rostigowicz?
Here.
Ms. Scott?
Here.
Mr. Conway?
Here.
Mr. Gignac?
Here.
7 present.
Thank you. We have under special order of business, presentation by the superintendent for Lowell's strategic plan. Madam Superintendent.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Murphy. I proudly present people who have participated in a wonderful planning initiative that has taken place through early childhood and many different community partners. And they're going to make this entire piece of work come to life right now. So I'm going to invite Pat Pinchot-Murphy, who is the District Support Specialist in charge of early childhood.
Good evening, and thank you for this opportunity to present our strategic plan to you tonight. I, along with my colleague Terry O'Neill, are happy to represent this wonderful plan and the work of the community partners and parents that you see behind us. We thank them for their support in coming tonight and in helping us to work this plan forward. This evening, we'll also have a couple of our slides presented by Cheryl Marks from the Department of Early Education and Care, and we're also going to begin the evening with a few parent speakers who have been working really hard on some statements that they wanted to share with you tonight. And I want to thank the following parents who are going to come up behind me at this time. We have Sume from Burma, Mumu from Burma, Pachu Viv from the Congo, Visal Kim from Cambodia, Maria Guamin from Ecuador, and Rath Higgins from Cambodia.
Hi, my name is Isuma and from Burma. I came to Lowell 2 years assessment goal. I was son, a friend, and alone. I first came to Lowell. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Mumu. I am from Burma. I didn't speak a lot of English. I was so where to go first. Help also research from me in my family. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Pachu. I'm from Congo. However, I was able to find a family literacy program that helped me and my family. I go to school with my preschool child, and together we learning English and work on important language and school skills at school, home, and in the community. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Visal. I am from Cambodia. My child is getting ready for kindergarten and has made so much progress. I am now able to use English in the community to help my family. I know about important resources and where to go for help. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Maria. I'm from Ecuador. I have become a student and more confident parent and person. I now have important education is for me and my family. I am an ambassador.
Hi, my name is Rod. I am from Cambodia. We want all the family in Lowell with young children to have this same opportunity. We hope that the plan you are going to learn about tonight will be one that you agree with support and behalf of all family like me. Thank you.
And I don't know about you, but I think we could stop right there. I think that tells the story. So I do thank our parent ambassadors. We've been calling them all week, that they are our ambassadors. We're going to begin this evening with some important background about why the plan was done and what is the foundation of the strategic plan. And I think we have some compelling slides that are going to come up. I think all of us in this room value education and value the fact that we want children coming into our school system ready for school and ready for learning. There's a lot of things I think that we have in place in the city and a lot of things that this plan identifies, things that we can put together and coordinate as a city to help and ensure that school success. Some interesting data that we have here about children coming into our kindergartens. This is some data, some national data. About a third of all children coming into kindergarten lack the basic language skills that they will need to learn to read. And about 88% or almost 90% of first graders who are below grade level in reading will continue to read below grade level in fourth grade. These are important statistics because we know with the current economic conditions, some of the stressors that are out there, the fact that our pre-Ks right now are at capacity within the school department, that we had to use a lottery system last year, and also have a wait list of about 150 children currently, as well as vouchers for children within the community programs. They're not as prevalent and available as before. Less children are within any type of preschool experience before coming into kindergarten. And with that said, we have a lot of gaps existing in our community. We believe that family readiness is equal to school readiness. And as you can see from the parents behind us and the families, if you provide support and resources for parents and children when they're very young, the opportunities exist and they have much better success when coming into school. A fact on this slide that I find incredibly compelling is that the first 2,000 days of a child's life are critical, from birth to entering kindergarten at age 5. That's when brain matter, the white matter in brains are developing, and without stimulation, language development, experiences, that white matter never has a chance to develop, and it's not going to engage the child and get them ready for learning. Someone said the other day, they compare a child's brain that has not been stimulated to an adult who has suffered a stroke. That's a pretty vivid image. So I think we realize that our work is very important. We need to be mindful of the fact that parents that do not use a lot of vocabulary or speaking to their child, their child's vocabulary is limited, and that's going to result in lack of success in school. Many of our low-income families in the city are hearing less vocabulary words than of those peers who come from different settings. So the need is urgent and critical. I think we all know reading to children matters, that reading every day to children is even more important. And among low-income families, about only 36% are read to on a daily basis. And many families living in poverty do not have the resources to provide books for their children, so many homes lack books. So I think that sets the stage for this plan and why the work that we have to present tonight is so very important. Cheryl's going to talk a little bit about some of the CFCE grant and what that is.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here tonight on behalf of Governor Patrick, Secretary Revel, and my boss, Dr. Sherry Killings. I'm very proud to be here. And coordinated family and community engagement grants are funded right now in the state of Massachusetts at approximately $14.5 million. And they are given out to 105 communities, and Lowell is one of those communities. Lowell also received a $15,000 strategic planning grant, which is how this work came about. And you can see the priorities right there in front of you that talk about access, transitions, and oral language and literacy. And really, what this grant and what this strategic plan aims to do is to support a community-based strategy which recognizes and values families as full partners in their children's education. This is so very important. And I just had a little acronym for you I thought was perfect at this time of year. It's IRS. So, how do we identify the families. Who are these families, particularly those hard-to-reach families that their needs aren't being met by our mixed delivery system? Who are they? How do we reach these families? How do we reach out to them in their natural settings where they are most comfortable? It's interesting, but there's a statistic from Dr. Dorkin down in Connecticut who started the Help Me Grow pilot, and he said it takes 7.5 contacts with a family to get them connected to a referral. And that's not always the most appropriate referral. That's just a referral. And finally, how do we support these families as their children's first teacher? And I have to say, as the Coordinated Family and Community Engagement Liaison in this Northeast region, I have been so impressed with the work that Pat and Terry have done in bringing the collaborators and stakeholders together for this strategic planning. The work has been incredible, and the plan itself is incredible, and I think you're going to be very impressed as you see this presentation. So thank you very much.
The Early Childhood Advisory Council represents a unique collaboration of community leaders in Lowell who share a vested interest in education, health, and well-being of the city's youth ages birth to 14 years. And I'd like the members to please stand. As you can see, we have a large group and just a sampling of our group. I want to tell you a little bit about the planning process that we undertook when we got this grant. We looked at the map of the resource and community assets we had. We developed demographics profiles of the state of the families in Lowell. We created organizational profiles on 15 Lowell-based agencies. We developed and disseminated a parent and provider survey. With the help of our community partners, we collected and analyzed data from 507 families and 165 providers, which is a lot more than we expected to get. We were very pleased. We had some in-depth key interviews with our stakeholders. We identified trends and patterns that emerged from the data. We developed strategic profiles and developed an action plan. I'd like to share with you some of the points of things that we did learn about our 507 parents that responded. 53% of the families were married. Of the 507, we had 14 languages other than English that participated in the survey. 66% of our families identified themselves as low income, poor, earning under $30,000 annually, and most our parents' respondents rented rather than own their own home. What we found was that most of our families felt confident in accessing food, housing, fuel assistance, and medical, but families were looking for more support and information on early education care program, family events and activity, literacy support, mental health services and counseling, domestic violence, legal assistance, and information on special needs and special education. We found that our families, a quarter of our families that responded, were taking their children out to museums, parks, entertaining and academic activities with their children, playing games, puzzles, books, reading, and playing outdoors. One thing that we did, an alarming statistic that we did find, is only 2% of our families were attending the library. We asked parents what were topics of interest that parents had. Some of the topics that we heard from them were they needed more information on positive behavior strategies for their children, helping children with literacy and learning, building self-esteem, understanding child development, parent support groups, and engaging fathers. We asked parents what kind of events they'd like to attend. Most of our parents would like to attend music performers, storytelling, movies, and performing arts. Pat?
So I think one of our main messages tonight is just to really stress the importance that the core of our success is really engaging parents in the community, families, and the community to work as a system to develop programs and things that will support families from birth through the continuum of age 8, which is the target age for the families of the work that we're doing. I'd like to provide some highlights of the strategic plan, some of our overarching goals. And some of the important pieces that we're working on currently in subcommittees, one of them is building an information clearinghouse. We realize that it's hard to maintain current and consistent information for families so that they can get referrals properly or that staff can access referrals. So we're taking a look at ways that we can do that. Some type of web-based program which is sensitive to linguistics and cultural pieces for families, but a way that we can keep information current and at everyone's fingertips. And that's a big goal, and one that we're working on with different pieces to see if we can roll that out. The other piece also involves a community-supported family resource center. As you know, we have a resource center within the Lowell Public Schools, and I think it's been a goal to maybe make that larger or bigger, or to have it supported with other resources outside of the school department. So we're trying to figure out what's going to make sense for that. How do we do that? Do we have some type of a mobile unit that goes out into neighborhoods at different times and provides resources to neighborhoods? Do we have some type of satellite sites where parents know where they can go for help in addition to the resource center at the school department? We really need this to have, we need to go out to the families. We can't always expect that they're going to come to us. So we really need to think of ways that will encourage families that are not engaged in programs to access these resources. Keeping in mind, as I mentioned earlier, that these tools, whatever it is that we're developing, we need to be thinking of them in terms of multilingual and multicultural, so that the staff involved in delivering them are sensitive to the needs of the families accessing them. The other piece we're looking at is how do we increase access of parents to information resources as well as behavioral health services. How do we provide more of those opportunities within the community? So those are some of the big overarching goals of the plan. And as I mentioned, the subcommittees are working on those topics as we speak. I think you received the strategic plan last week in your packets. You can see that it is a very broad plan, a very deep plan, one that we're very proud of and excited about. And we hope that, you know, it is something that will ensure that children entering into the Lowell Public Schools will be prepared to succeed. If we can work as a community before they enter the system, we are all going to be in a better place for that. We wanted to just share some of the steps we've taken so far. We've expanded our the Advisory Council membership greatly. It's really become quite a passion and a momentum in the community. And Terry and I, each month, as well as the members, we're always thrilled to have new members join us. We've added a lot of new members this year from the city planner's office, from some of the medical community and mental health community, and we're very excited about that. We've also started to identify community spaces that are not school-based, but are in the community, in the neighborhoods of the families we wish to target. We're trying to use those spaces to support and promote family engagement by offering playgroup opportunities, raising a reader opportunities, music and movement, in ways that we can touch families and reach families and connect them with resources at an early age. We're also doing a lot of outreach to try to find families in the community that are not part of early childhood programs, whether they be in the public school or the community, and try to attach them to those playgroup opportunities or other things in the community that they can be part of. We've expanded our collaboration with the library. As you saw that statistic, we want to really support the use of the library. So we're working on that, as well as some raising a reader initiatives. We're working closely with the Department of Children and Families, as well as our local early intervention programs and the Lowell Community Health Center. We have found this opportunity a great link and a strengthening of our partnership within our own school department, where we have the access and the communication with special education, the curriculum department, and the student support service department. And we're happy to bring this message forward to them and have their participation as well.
In developing this plan as the Early Childhood Advisory Council, we wanted to make sure that the plan aligned with the superintendent's 3 district core issues. The communication, oversight, and shared leadership. We think the Early Childhood Advisory Council is open and it's inclusive to all community members and parents who have a shared interest in creating a supportive and strengthening families. Response to instruction, which is her second goal, through the provision of multiple learning opportunities in the city, parents and children can build their skills in early literacy and social development. Those are the playgroups and the activities that we had talked about. And the third is narrowing the achievement gap for students in special education. We have worked really hard to build a cohesive system for early identification of children with special needs through our monthly developmental screenings for children birth to 5. We work in collaboration with our early intervention programs, our mental health agencies, and our healthcare providers. So we're really trying to align our goals with the school department goals. We're aligning it with the Department of Early Care and Education strategic direction, which the state is going, which is to increase and promote coordinated family support and access. And the larger goal is building a system of early care and education services for children. We're trying to streamline so families will know where to go to get the services. The Department of Ed has also just received a new state initiative, which is the Early Learning Challenge Grant, and which in that grant and funds, which is $50 million that will be coming into the state, we made sure that it aligned with the promotion of supports for family and children and school readiness.
And I think we're going to conclude, again, by showing that our long-term goal is really putting more tools into the hands of families, investing in services that will advance child, family, and community well-being. We have just a few acknowledgments. On behalf of the Lowell Public Schools Early Childhood and Program and Services Department, as the lead agency for the CFCE grant, we're extremely grateful to the CFCE council members that you see many behind us tonight, other community members, parents, and program staff for their active role in developing this citywide plan. We also want to extend a special thank you to Linda Warren and Benita Danzing from Early Childhood Associates Incorporated, who are not able to be here this evening, but they were able to help us facilitate the planning groups and the writing process for this plan, as well as some of the implementation strategies. So we're very happy and appreciative of their dedication to our project. I think a final message, as a school committee, we hope that you approve perhaps and support this plan, that you agree about the importance of this plan. We invite all of you or any of you to be a participant on our Early Childhood Advisory Council if you would like that, and we can certainly give you more information on that. We also ask for your assistance in helping us to link with other community partners and resources who might help to broaden and expand our implementation plan. And we also want to obviously celebrate the rich diversity that our community of Lowell holds and the many partners and programs that are already in place and supporting and strengthening families on a daily basis. So again, thank you for this opportunity. We appreciate the time. And again, thank you on behalf of all of us here.
Thank you, and thank you to the families who came and for all the work on the plan. I open it up for any questions, discussion on the presentation? Seeing, excuse me, Madam Superintendent.
I just wanted to commend all of you and congratulate all of you. There are many grants that I've seen through my many years in this business, and this is not a large grant that started the strategic planning, but the passion and the depth of this work is some of the most excellent work I've seen. And so I thank each of you, because it takes our whole city, every one of us, in every agency, to say it's all about getting our young people ready for school and knowing what they need to be ready. And so I want to just thank each of you. 507 surveys is almost impossible in this world, so I have to take that out of all of the data that was here shared. I am very impressed by this piece of work, and we look forward to the future. Thank you.
Mr. Conway.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you, Mr. Mayor, to the superintendent, do we need a formal motion of support from the school committee on this plan tonight?
Madam Superintendent.
Yes, that would be good.
I'd like to make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Conway, seconded by Mr. Gignac. All those in favor? Ms. Martin.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. You know, and again, I have to echo the sentiments of the superintendent. It is an extraordinary amount of work that I know went into this. Yes, that I'm very well aware of. And I think that a lot of the information that we gleaned from this was certainly, informative. A lot of it I think we had a sense of, but to have this kind of rock-solid data behind our assertions, I think is really powerful. And I think that certainly looking forward, the opportunity that Race to the Top offers for us to really strengthen our early education efforts here in the city is really a breath of fresh air. It's this, the Department of Early Education and Care and the funding that's come through them has been so dramatically cut during these really difficult economic times. And it's really encouraging to see the state making these investments, our city being so well situated and I think flexible and nimble to be able to take this kind of funding and make something really impressive that will really help us lay the groundwork moving forward for our families in a much broader way. So I think looking at the strategic plan, it's certainly impressive work, but it really does lay out a kind of roadmap for us about where we need to be going. And I think that certainly with the support of this committee and with the support of the entire district and the entire community, we really will be making some great strides for the youngest members of our community.
Thank you. Any further discussion or comment on the presentation? I would just say that, I would extend an invitation to you all to make a similar presentation to the City Council and really, look to see how the Council can support further those efforts and sustain them over the long term. But thank you for the presentation again and for being here tonight. We'll move on to the minutes section of the agenda. We have the regularly scheduled minutes of the meeting of Wednesday, January 18th, 2012.
Move to approve.
Move to approve by Mr. Leary, seconded by Ms. Ross Sitkowicz. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? So voted. Next, we have permission to enter. Madam Superintendent.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, to Audio Hearing Center, LLC, for $15,150 to amend the existing contract to provide for additional audiological evaluations, equipment, monitoring, and training for Lowell Public School students. Funding will be provided by the Special Education Department, Special Education 240 grant.
Ms. Ross Sitkowicz. Discussion? Motion by Ms. Ross Sitkowicz, seconded by Mr. Leary. Roll call, please.
Mr. Leary.
Yes.
Ms. Martin.
Yes.
Mayor Murphy.
Yes.
Ms. Ross Sitkowicz.
Yes.
Ms. Scott.
Yes.
Mr. Conway.
Yes.
Mr. Gignac.
Yes.
7 yeas, approved.
We have 5 memorials tonight. The first is Norma Jean Wilgorin, mother of Linda Warden, a Lowell High School teacher. Ruth J. Sexton, mother-in-law of the Green Oak school teacher Leanne Sexton, and grandmother of Merkland school teacher Tracy Mainville, and Morey school paraprofessional Jennifer Sheehy. William J. Themlis, father of Robinson school teacher Kimberly Themlis. Nancy G. Chase, mother of Morey school teacher Marjorie Chase, and Dr. Robert F. Lovely, uncle of Jane Moshe Conti, Lowell Public School attorney. Would you please rise for a moment of silence in darkened chambers? May they rest in peace. Seeing no unfinished business or public participation, we'll move to the motions section of the agenda. We have first motion by Kristen Ross Sitkowicz. Request the superintendent work with the city administration to incorporate all requests for school maintenance repair requests into the Lowell Stat Department to provide tracking and metrics for resolution of maintenance issues throughout the school district. Seconded by Mr. Leary. Ms. Ross Sitkowicz.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. By all appearances, the issue of ongoing maintenance and repair is a challenge for our school district. This motion is timely, as Mayor Murphy and Councilor Mendonça have requested of the city manager a report on the potential for consolidation into a single work order system for school and municipal buildings. Since our district relies upon the city to perform maintenance and repairs to school properties, it would seem natural that we would consolidate our service needs into a single work order system. Doing so will enable the operations responsible for maintenance and repair to better prioritize and balance the needs of all of its stakeholders. Additionally, and perhaps fundamentally more important, is to provide the data that we need so that we as a school committee can better manage the infrastructure needs of the district. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Leary, excuse me, Mr. Conway.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just very quickly, I think the motion is a good motion. I think it, again, it mirrors a motion that was put on in the City Council. And also, I think that throughout my time dealing with the school department, there's been a tremendous amount of frustration that's taken place with employees wanting certain things fixed and taken care of. Requests have been put in, and I think what this does here, it tracks the accountability, which I think is extremely important, and that everyone is on the same page. And I think that we obviously want to get things taken care of. We want to get things fixed, and I think this will certainly help to ensure that that to happen. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Conway. Any further discussion on the motion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? So voted. Next, we have a subcommittee report from the Finance Subcommittee. Report of the meeting of Wednesday, February 1st, 2012. Mr. Leary.
Thank you, Mayor.
Or Councilor Laurie, apparently.
Pardon? What? Councilor Laurie. Yeah, he's a good guy. Put mine up here as well. I'll share my space with Councilor Laurie anytime. I guess first I want to thank the entire committee showed up for the meeting, as well as the administration. Mr. Lang, thank you for excellent work. We received our initial updated pamphlet of where we are today in regards to the budget. A lot of it we did receive tonight, so a lot of the material we're each going to be digesting as we prepare ourselves for the budget year. The highlights of it. For this year, we have $2,057,700 in suspense that we've known about. That's, it's been unofficially declared as part of our tech budget that we're going to be looking at and sitting down in the next few weeks, next few months going forward. Mr. Lang has put some projections together that are tentative. In getting into them, I guess basically he's looking at potentially a surplus of 1.1 million. However, that's pretty fluid. It could be reduced. It could go higher. So at this point, Mr. Lang was articulating the position that we should be looking towards the beginning of April to really solidify how our accounts are doing and if there's any monies that we can be putting into one-time purchases, such as technology, which I think as a district, we all know we've been really poor in spending both from the infrastructure as well as the resources. It's been an interesting looking at the governor's proposal. The budget for the governor is level funded from last year with Chapter 70, which hopefully will hold true, if not go higher. That will help us offset some of the federal stimulus or federal job monies equaling a 4.8 million to make it even, which is a good thing going forward. I'm not going to get into a long dialogue tonight because I think a lot of us need to digest the material that was presented. I think Mr. Lang will be putting this online when we update our website, hopefully coming very, very, very soon, if not already. But a position I think that we need to change as a school committee are our discussion points of net school spending. As important as it is, that's not the most important part. The most important part is having sufficient funds to fund the quality of education for our students. Just meeting net school spending is not an A. Meeting net school spending is just meeting expectations. That's a C. Now, being under difficult budget times, we can understand why we just go to that level. But going forward, we have to look for more funds and educate the public why we're going to be using those funds for the benefit of the students of our city. But I really think it was an excellent presentation, an excellent start coming in with a new committee, and I thank Mr. Lang and the entire committee for attending the brief but very informative financial subcommittee meeting. I guess that's a motion, take as a motion to approach to progress. Mayor, thank you.
Motion by Mr. Leary, seconded by Ms. Martin to accept his report of progress. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? So voted. Next, we have reports of the superintendent. The first, Department of Elementary and Secondary Education adoption of the world-class instructional design and assessment. Madam Superintendent.
Thank you, Mayor Murphy. The acronym, the newest acronym, is called WIDA, and it is a system of instruction and assessment that is used in 27 states and is aligned to the Common Core standards. And so as the Common Core standards have changed instruction or amended instruction nationally, there are states that are ahead of Massachusetts in adopting the ESL standards that need to be taking place. So the Department of Education has mandated this new system. It will change our assessment from the MIPA, which we've been doing for a number of years. There's some talk about changing some of the training. Initially, we will have, I believe, all teachers have to participate in 10 hours of online training. I wanted to make all aware of this because it is another large unfunded mandate on the plate of the district as mandated by the state. And so there is a timeline that talks about as early as we're beginning some training in the spring. We will be beginning assessment and changing to the system support as early as next year. So that's the last MIPA test. So I wanted to make you aware of this. And honestly, I don't know about the details. I've asked for data from the state, and in turn, they sent me probably a 300-page document, which I have yet to look into, but it's very important to me to look at the long-range data in schools that have already adopted, systems that have already adopted, or states that have already adopted. So I just wanted to make you aware of this. The teachers have been informed through the newsletter that this is coming. We do not know all the details, but it is something you'll hear about, so I just wanted to bring your attention to it.
Ms. Martin.
Thank you very much. Thank you for providing us with the information, Madam Superintendent. I think one of the key things, and I suspect as you wade through these 300 pages, it may start to come into clearer focus. You know, my concern, I mean, it's being adopted, so, we can discuss this all day, but the fact is that that's the situation we're going to be in. We had the conversation when we were talking about the Common Core standards about them not being as rigorous as perhaps the standards we had in Massachusetts. Do you have any kind of qualitative assessment, or is this really kind of the process you're going through in terms of how does this compare to the MELO? How does this, what will this represent to us in terms of the kind of information we're going to be able to get, and will it be as strident and as rigorous as what we have in place right now?
Truthfully, it is, the state of Massachusetts stated in several meetings that they have gone with this system of support because it is more rigorous and it really does align to bring the standards for ESL up to a higher level. And so there's a new test which we access, and it looks at the oral proficiency and the written proficiency, quite like with MIPA, but it's going to be able to be broken down to a level of children's proficiency, so you can kind of use it more diagnostically. The problem with the MIPA test is, although there was a great deal of data and we'd have an overarching kind of a proficiency level, being able to disaggregate it like we do with MCAS was somewhat problematic. And so I think Massachusetts made its best attempt, but from all that I'm hearing is this is even more detailed. Okay. So it gets down to the fine-tuning of language, so syntax, pronunciation. Although that was touched upon in the past, it wasn't focused. And so that's what they're telling us. It's my field, so I'm looking at it with a fine-tooth comb, and we'll do the training that's involved, but I just want people to know that it is new. But the goal is that all children from all backgrounds will be able to read at and above grade level with this extra addition of the special strategies. All teachers need to know how to teach. So that's what it's about.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Further discussion on this item? Seeing none, entertain a motion to accept as a report of progress by Ms. Martin, second by Ms. Ross-Sikwich. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? So voted. Next, we have a report on the Gateway Cities Initiative. Madam Superintendent.
Thank you, Mayor Murphy. Many of you may have heard of the intention of Governor Patrick to fund Gateway Cities Initiative, and Lowell being Gateway City is in that accepted list of participants. So Mayor Murphy and I will be participating in this initiative. We will join the Superintendent's Roundtable. Next meeting is coming up in February. And to be honest, because I asked the superintendent who hosts it under Revenue, who is a Fitchburg superintendent, how the initiative was going. He said it was kind of course, changed during the election season, so it's a really great time for us to join in. And they're very excited, especially since there's been a commitment to the funding. So I'm sure we will represent the best we can as mayor and superintendent, but we want to let you know that we'll keep you posted on what it's about as we go. Thank you.
Any discussion on the report? Motion to accept as a report of progress by Ms. Ross-Sikwich, second by Ms. Scott. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? So voted. Next, we have a report on out-of-district high school students. Madam Superintendent.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. In a motion that was filed by Committee Member Allison Larrabur in December, she requested a report on the outreach actions being taken on a regular basis to inform students who do not physically attend Lowell High of the opportunities available to them as students in the district. So Ms. Murphy explains to us that the ETC, the evaluation team person for the out-of-district students, is a liaison for any child who is outside placed in the district. And that evaluation team person stays aware of all the opportunities, what's happening with the child, how, in fact, the support systems they need. She also checks in on the guidance status of the out-of-district young people and how to make sure they meet the graduation requirements. So just to know that those particular children who are, in some regard, special cases, do have a Lowell High School affiliated staff who are looking at their progress.
Thank you. Any discussion on this report? Seeing none, motion by Ms. Martin, second by Ms. Ross-Sikwich. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? So voted. Next, we have the school committee agenda management, agenda.net, report of progress.
And this, thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is a report submitted by Jay Lane, Deputy Superintendent of Finance, offering information about a motion that was made by Committee Member Kim Scott that's looking for a timeline for the implementation of an online packet and also providing the date we can expect to begin paperless format. And so, as always in this world, the school committee is going to model by example. Agenda.net is the online system for reporting school committee agenda, school committee reports, and there'll be a small transition period. So as you look at this particular report, there will be two more for the end of this month. And the next month, February, you'll be receiving packets. After that, the new agenda, electronic format, will be coming to you electronically, and they'll begin on the first meeting in March. So you will get your school committee packet as well as your reports electronically, and they'll be able to be posted also as such. The school department is going to provide the committee members with the technology that they need. I'm not sure what Mr. Lang has in mind. We can ask him. So you'll be able to access your computer attachments and whatnot for the committee meetings. And so There also is a joint finance subcommittee on February 23rd to begin to look at the CELT technology review, which is also part of these recommendations that we all get more online and more ready. So in answer to your motion, Ms. Scott, I wonder if you have any questions or...
Ms. Scott.
Through you to the superintendent. The timeline, it looks really good for the online transition. I do have questions about the electronic devices. If Mr. Lang could tell us a little bit more about that.
Sure. Well, we've been working on the product since the summertime, and to do a transition to a paperless format. Can I just give a little overview of the product first? What the software will allow is, at central office, when we're creating the agenda, different people at central office will be able to contribute their reports electronically. So in the business office, if I had finance subcommittee minutes or notes, I'll be able to actually just go in, create a line item on the agenda, and then that whole packet would just be attached to the agenda. We won't have to make the 20 copies and send it around to the school committee and whatnot. And on the Friday of the school committee meeting, by noontime, we'll have all of our reports in. I believe it's 2 o'clock. You have all of your motions in. And then by 4 o'clock that afternoon, June will go through and actually close the agenda. So all of the documents or reports that we've provided in PDF format, and then all of the motions that you've asked be responded to, will automatically upload to the agenda, and that will create the agenda, which will then be when you post the agenda, it will post as a link directly to our website, say 4 o'clock or 4:30 on Friday afternoon. So right then, it'll be available to the public so they can see the agenda and they can see all the attachments. And then the public can go in and read the whole agenda or download particular attachments. What'll be really nice for is when you make a motion, say this particular motion, my response will actually be tied to that motion, so there's a searchable database in the end. So going forward, if someone wanted to go in and type in agenda.net or technology management or whatnot, a whole list of motions would come up by who filed them, as well as what the responses are. So it'll provide a historical perspective on our motions and responses. So I think that'll be nice for the public. At the same time it's going to post online, it's going to send whoever you want a link to it. So you'll receive an email from us indicating that the agenda has been posted. Click on this link to be able to go access the agenda and all the items. So you'll need to download those documents onto whatever device you have. What we were anticipating, again, as we're kind of rolling out this whole CELT study, we don't have a lot of technology staff on board to help with the implementation of this. We were anticipating that there were going to be some hurdles that we have to go through to have everyone be on the same page, and if you're at a meeting and someone's device isn't working or whatnot, it could prove problematic if you don't have a paper copy and you only have an electronic copy of the reports in front of you. So we were anticipating, at least initially, purchasing some kind of a device, and we're looking at this at the same time the city council is for the city councilors. Some kind of a tablet, an iPad, something along those lines that would be provided to each school committee member now, each city councilor then, as this whole product gets rolled out. That's what we were thinking, just to be able to have everyone be on the same page, be using the same device, have everyone have the same version of software and whatnot. And I think the timeline is a little aggressive, but I think it's almost one of these things where if you don't just do it and commit to it, we could end up, talking about it for a couple months and it just, we'd be having trouble then. So we're just going to have to jump in. And I think 2 meetings is a good time to do it. At the second meeting in February, we are going to produce the minutes of tonight as well as that agenda. Although it'll be printed from the software. So you'll get a look at what it will actually look like when you receive it. So that's my overview.
Mr. Conway.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, to Mr. Lang, you referenced these devices. How much do these devices cost?
It depends on the ultimate device that we end up purchasing. It could be, I'm going to guess, $300 to $500.
$300 to $500 per
device.
Per device. And we're going to need how many?
7.
7? Thank you.
Any further discussion? Mr. Leary.
How many other districts and government bodies are doing this? I mean, I know I read something where the legislature does this already. I know Westford does it. I mean, is there other folks that are already doing this right now, or are we the cutting edge folks? Are we back, as usual in technology, we're bringing up the other end of the spectrum?
You're way ahead of the curve on this one. No, to be honest with you, it certainly is occurring in communities, both large and small. I think the most local group, I do know Westford implemented something similar to this within the last year or so. When I've gone on to look at like even the training videos, or just to see what some of the forms look like, the communities I've been looking at are larger. Again, I don't have a great frame of reference for this, but it is more cities, municipalities seem to be going to the electronic format. I think the issue that really drives this is the searchable database, the record keeping, being able to post your agendas and your reports online, having them be there, now and in 10 years. So if someone really wants to go back and find a report, or how we produce the quarterly list of motions and what's been responded to and what hasn't been. Well, now you'll be able to just look online and there'll be a little report icon right next to the motion. So very easily we'll be able to sort which ones have been responded to and which ones haven't. And I think it's a way to really just keep the public and the community involved with what we're doing.
No, and I think the motion thing you pointed out makes a lot of sense, and I'd like to go through the historical data if we could of those motions too. If we actually do this, that'd be quite entertaining, especially as it relates to technology. I guess the other point of, I think we need to do it at some point. We can do it now, we can do it next March, but at some point, this is the way the universe is traveling in. We need to make sure, though, that we're aggressive with ensuring that the kids in the classrooms are getting the high-tech technology. I don't want to be sitting here with a tablet in front of me when some kid in second grade is like, the teacher's got a piece of chalk and writing on the chalkboard. And the website, if we don't get the website updated, then I don't want to be sitting here with my tablet when our website is what it is. So, I'm encouraged that we're going to do that. We just need to ensure that we're aggressive doing the other things that have actually more importance. Thank you.
Ms. Scott.
I actually was going to raise very similar concern as Mr. Leary with the timing of this. I do think that these will probably save money over time. They'll probably pay for themselves and then some between the paper that we use and the couriers and everything else. The only thing I would want to see if we're going to do this is perhaps being provided with the system requirements. If we could provide our own tablets, I would prefer not to take one from the district. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion on this report? Motion to accept as a report of progress by Mr. Gignac, seconded by Mr. Leary. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? So voted. Finally, we have a personnel report. Madam Superintendent.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, this is the annual report of status up through yesterday. So just to know the retirements and the resignations and new hires and promotions.
Motion to accept as a report of progress by Ms. Martin, second by Ms. Rosikowicz. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? So voted. Having no new business, we'll move to the convention and conference requests. Madam Superintendent.
Yes, this evening there were three requests for field trips. First one's Lowell High School, the Business Professionals of America to go to the State Leadership Conference. The second one is the overnight field request from the ROTC National Drill Team Competition in Macon, Georgia. And last is for the Math Department Chair, Onella Bascugnan, to serve in the Advanced Placement Testing Program, and all of which are very important and viable interests.
Mr. Conway.
And make a motion to take all three of them together.
Motion by Mr. Conway, second by Mr. Leary. Roll call, please.
Mr. Leary?
Yes.
Ms. Martin?
Yes.
Mayor Murphy?
Yes.
Ms. Rosikowicz?
Yes.
Ms. Scott?
Yes?
Mr. Conway?
Yes.
Mr. Gignac?
Yes.
7 yeas, approved.
Next, we have communications, informational. The Lowell Telecommunication Channel 10 broadcast of the school committee meetings are live on the first and third Wednesday of of the month, and replayed Thursdays at 9 p.m., Sundays at 2 p.m., Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Under professional personnel, we have the members of the United Teachers of Lowell hereby requesting to donate sick leave days to the following teacher, Gretchen Garvey at the Lowell High School, 35 days. Move for approval by Mr. Leary, seconded by Mr. Gignac. Roll call, please.
Mr. Leary?
Yes.
Ms. Martin?
Yes.
Mayor Murphy?
Yes.
Ms. Rostikowicz?
Yes.
Ms. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Conway?
Yes.
Mr. Gignac?
Yes.
7 yeas, approved.
Just as a, I'd take another motion under the convention and conference request. The motion was to take the three together. Now we need to just actually accept the motion by Mr. Gignac, seconded by Mr. Leary. Roll call, please.
Mr. Leary?
Yes.
Ms. Martin?
Yes.
Mayor Murphy?
Yes.
Ms. Rostikowicz?
Yes.
Ms. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Conway?
Yes.
Mr. Gignac?
Yes.
7 yeas, approved.
Little curveball there. Entertain a motion to adjourn by Mr. Gignac, seconded by Ms. Scott. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? We stand adjourned.